In this video, we are going to take a look at configurations in InstaWP. So you'll find your configurations on the left. Here I have test. Yours may be different. It may say default. Click on this icon if you want to rename a configuration. So as an example, I'm going to call this config. Once you're done, click on this icon to save it. All right. So our first configuration tab is general. And the first setting we have is WordPress version. So I'm going to select 5.9 from this list as an example. Okay. And you can also select a PHP version from this drop-down menu. And we have versions from 7.2 all the way to 8.1. And once you're done with your configurations, be sure to click on this Save button. If you want to add another configuration, you can always click on Save as New. And you can always go ahead and rename it on the left. So let's call this one Test. And let's save it. All right, so now you'll be able to go ahead and make changes to your new configuration. Just be sure to save your changes. Now let's select the first configuration and move over to the PHP tab. Okay, so here we have a list of PHP configurations. The first one is max execution time, and this is basically a time limit on how long a PHP script can run. And maximum input time sets the maximum time in seconds for which a script is allowed to parse data. And the next option lets you set the maximum number of variables your server can use for a single function. So these were the first three configurations, and we have some more, but I'm going to leave a link to a document in the description where you can find information on each of these configurations. And you can also make changes to the values for each of these configurations. So for example, I'm changing the max execution time to 40 seconds and the max input time to 30 seconds. So once you're done making all of your changes, be sure to click on the Save button at the top of the page. Now let's go over to the WordPress tab. So the first option we have here is WP Debug. This option can be used to trigger the debug mode throughout WordPress. And WP Auto Update Core lets you configure the type of WordPress updates that you'd like to receive automatically. And the next option lets you totally disable the automatic updater. And this is enabled by default. If you would like to disable it, simply click on this checkbox on the left. And finally, we have multi-site. So a multi-site network is a collection of sites that all share the same WordPress installation core files. So you can turn each of these options on or off using their checkboxes. And if you want to turn on multi-site installation, toggle this switch. We also have the option to pre-install plugins. All you would need to do is place a plugin slug in this field. So for example, let's go to the WordPress repository. Let's copy everything after plugins / excluding the last slash. Okay, so right click and copy. Now let's go back to the configuration page and paste it in this field. Click on it. Okay, so we have successfully added one plugin. You can also add a theme using the same method. The final option lets you pre-install a theme or plugin using a URL. So once you're done, click on the Save button. Let's test our configuration. Let's access this drop-down to select a configuration. I'm going to leave it as config. And for the site name, let's type in test and click create site. Now the app is setting up our WordPress instance for us. So now it's creating a user, installing SSL. Now it's creating a database and applying our configurations. Okay, so it's ready. To log in manually, use these credentials on the left or click on Access Now to log in automatically. So now we're at the WordPress dashboard. And if you take a look on the left, you'll see that the plugin that we added to our configuration was installed.